Thanks for joining us. We'll get started in just 1 minute. Make sure that you have subscribed to us on your favorite social media. Look up Birdland Sports on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. Like, follow, retweet, share. See you in a moment. All right, Matt. We've done a few shows over here on the Birdland Tonight feed as we've been testing it and getting to know it and all. But this is the official start of Birdland Tonight.
Oh, sweet.
As we start off podcast takeover week. So 336 is the first podcast, and every night up until opening day, another podcast is going to be out on the Birdland Tonight feed.
Well, that's cool. And that opening 2 minutes was going to be the most professional 2 minutes of this entire show.
Yeah, what's fun is I cut that out of the podcast.
Oh, cool.
So people that listen to people who listen online, this is section 336. So we still got to do this.
Behind home plate, we bringing it to them all day. All day. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Win or lose, we bringing it to you always. Always. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Orange or black, we rebuild the pack. No matter where we at, you know we coming back. Section 336, we on this, so tune in. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Yeah, welcome to Birdland. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Now, here come the boys from Section 336.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Baltimore sports fans of all ages, welcome to Section 336, next generation of Baltimore sports talk. I am your endearingly stunning host, Matt Sroka. As always, I'm joined by the button lover, Josh Sroka. Hey, Josh.
Hey, Matt. How you doing?
Good.
You having a pretty good week?
Yeah. Oh, wait a minute. I just saw Alabama hit another three-pointer. So that's 200 or 300 three-pointers thus far, still counting. I feel like I have nightmares of them just hitting threes.
Right. We pushed it a day so we could watch the Maryland-Alabama matchup, and who knew it was just going to be threes all night?
Yeah, I got so mad. And to me, it was just so dumb watching it. And if I was on Alabama's end, I'd be loving it.
Yeah.
Like let me hire that coach. But watching it, it was just like they would just, dribble up, either drive or just throw up threes and then get long rebounds. And if they didn't make it the first time, they'll get a long rebound and then pass it back and someone would hit an open three. It was silly.
It was like playing the Yankees with the steroids where it was just dongs for days.
Yeah. And you knew, like, I went back and looked, like, this is not possible. Like, they were over the season, they were like hitting at a 350 clip. And they always shot a lot of threes, but they didn't typically make that many threes during the regular season. So they were just freaking on fire, on fuego. And I thought Maryland played pretty well, especially the first half. Like, they put up points. But, man, it doesn't matter. Like, the Terps could have played their best game of the season, and they still would have lost by, 15 points because they were just freaking. I saw some people calling them the Alabama Warriors, and it was like Curry was out there knocking down threes. It was ridiculous.
No, it's I've never seen anything like that. Did you make it to the end of the game?
Yeah, only because I had some money on it.
Yeah, hope it was for the amount of threes being scored. I fell asleep.
Okay.
Once it got to 21-point spread, I went and took my little sleep gummies to watch the rest of the game and fell asleep.
Yeah, these games are the type of games where I lose all my money because they get behind and they think, oh, Maryland will come back, and then the line gets up to like 7, 8, 9, 10. Right. So I put a little more money in there. 15, oh man, let me put a little more money in there. Right. And next thing you know, I lost all my money.
Yeah,
That's kind of how that works.
The first half was not bad.
And you thought, and after the first half, you thought that.
Yeah, you said second half coming in. There's no way they shoot 50% from the three.
Yeah, that's what they had 8 threes in the first half, shooting 50%. It was like there's no way they're going to shoot 50% in the second half, and we kept it close while them hitting all these ridiculous shots. So you thought for sure, like not even that Maryland's going to win, but for sure there's going to be a close game. But then the second half, they just kept on making them. It was amazing.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
But hey, we skipped a day to watch the game, but we're going to talk Orioles tonight and lots of Orioles. Maybe we can talk about how no wide receivers want to come to Baltimore, but I think we can focus on the Orioles for an hour tonight. I do want to shout out our Patreon members. I always forget this, so I made a note at the top, and this week let's thank Michael and Charlie as our Patreons of the week. You can be one by going over to section336.com and click on the sponsor 336 button up at the top. It's how we keep this show ad-free.
Okay, and you just reminded me that we also had a new iTunes review.
Oh, I have not checked that. That's another great way to support the show. Let's get all this. This is the stuff we normally do in like the final 10 seconds of the show. Let's get them up on the front.
Yeah,
you got that review pulled up? Is this going to be a slippery Soroka type
No. This one is it's a 5 stars. It's 5 stars.
Right, now's the time, guys, to review and share the show because it's baseball season and people are looking for Orioles podcasts, getting excited. If you're watching us live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, I'm told to tell you to bang the bell.
I don't know what that means.
Hit the bell. I don't know what that means, but apparently there's a bell, and if you hit it, then you'll get notified when we go live in the future.
Okay.
So hit that bell.
This is from Mike H79.
Mike H79. All right.
He said, I've been searching for years for an Orioles podcast, and this is it. I listened to plenty of interesting podcasts that seem to disappear after 1 or 2 episodes. These guys are clearly committed and are entertaining and informative. A great listen. Why are you laughing, Josh?
Because if there's one thing I say, we're committed.
Yeah. That's like saying when I would play high school basketball and have like 5 points, and you would get a compliment saying, "Hey, you really had good hustle out there."
Yeah,
like that.
Well, you know what?
You're committed. It's one of those backhanded compliments. All right, I'll take it.
I always reference my softball team. It's the guy that's not good, but he shows up for every game. So you put him in.
You need his body. You need his body.
His body is at every practice, every game. So you got to give him time.
Yeah, we might not be high quality every week, but we're committed. We will be here every week.
And and we tell people we're different than all the other podcasts. You're not going to get all the nerd stats. We're here every week. We're brothers. We have a different kind of view on things.
Yeah.
So,
but appreciate the reviews. Yeah. Keep them coming. Keep the Patreon support coming.
I want to make a new ad or something for 336. We're committed.
We're committed. That's like our slogan.
Right. Forget we've played with Baltimore's best sports podcast. We've played with the next generation of Baltimore sports. We've played with for fans by fans. And the new slogan is "We're committed."
Yeah, we're committed.
Baltimore, we're committed.
Sums it up. We got that going for us. Hey, Josh, let's start the show with State of the Orioles. Can we start the show with State of the Orioles?
Yeah, let's talk State of the Orioles because I listened to the Baseball Barbecue podcast right before hopping on here, and they went through all the teams in the AL, and they started off with the Orioles.
Oh, cool. And I want to start with it because I'm just like on freaking Josh, I'm serious. I don't know if I've ever been higher on the Orioles than I am at this moment. Like I don't think the state of the Orioles have ever been higher.
I agree with you.
For this year and going forward. Did you see their tweet about the Dominican Republic, the facility that they're building there? Did you watch the 4-minute video of Mike Elias talking about it and Kobe Perez talking about it? It got me pumped up. I was ready to go to DR and start training for there.
Well, and that's where the Orioles screwed up. That's where the Orioles screwed up. They should build that same place and let Oriole fans go. They'll make so much money. Because I watched that video and I was like, all right, when do we go? Sign me up.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they said it's like the place that's in Sarasota. They said
it looks beautiful.
That. Yeah, it looks beautiful. It's what was it, like $26 million or something? Or $22 million investment.
All right, so bye
in the building. Yeah. So this is the stock is up, and this is and all the things that they said are correct. The place in the DR, their new facility. It's not just like a practice field, right? It's 3 buildings. It's like a little town. I mean, they got
like
an education center where you go to school for these kids because you get 12-year-olds going there.
Right.
If they're signing. You also have like kitchens and cafeterias and offices. It's just this. It's like a little town within itself, and it's going to be an awesome not just training facility but recruiting facility. Because signing international free agents, it's like college recruiting, except you can throw money at them, but you still have to get them to choose you.
Right.
It's not like a draft, so this will help players choose them and then help them develop them. So it's awesome. I'm pumped about it.
It's the only place where you can legally go buy kids.
Yeah, essentially. But but do it in a within the rules.
Fashion. Yeah, and a non-creepy fashion.
Well, I don't know about that. Like, I think there are some ethical issues with paying a 16-year-old $100,000.
I agree on ethical issues. I wouldn't call it creepy.
Yeah, it's not creepy. Though for some reason we're still not allowed in South Korea, so I don't know what that's about. But that's the thing. That's right.
Happens. When's the last baseball player that came from South Korea?
That
you were on the Orioles.
Yeah, who did that? Who's our boy? Did our boy come from South Korea?
Hyun-Soo Kim?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Kim?
I think so, yeah.
There's the last Oriole.
I was waiting for you to mix up some Korean and Japanese players.
I was also thinking of the guy who just retired, but didn't retire, went back to South Korea, Sun Chu from Texas. Yeah. Who had a really nice career in the majors.
That's true. Dominican Republic.
But Dominican Republic is
baseball players come out of there.
That's where the action's at.
Yes.
And so that shows a huge commitment.
It reminded me looking at the video. I know they were saying Sarasota, but it reminded me of Aberdeen and the whole Ripken experience and what they've got going on there. Yeah. So all good. State of the Orioles way up.
Because remember, where did we get this whole State of the Orioles thing from? When they started like trying to defer arbitration salaries, and it was like, what is happening? Like, are the Orioles going to? Josh was spreading rumors that we were moving to Nashville. In the middle of the night.
There was an article in the Washington Post this past week implying that the Orioles are going up for sale again.
Yeah.
So people are stupid.
Yeah. If John Angelos is investing $22 million to build a facility in the Dominican Republic, I don't think he's planning on going anywhere ever. So
I don't think so. I think we're good.
Yeah. So the state is up through the roof. And on top of that, I don't remember when this was officially announced. I think it was announced, but not officially announced, the signing of Maikel Franco. So now we got Maikel Franco as well on the squad. Yeah. And he had a home run today. So the stock in all, even I think this year, like I am pumped about this year. And we can get into it, but I'm really excited about this year. I think we're going to shock a lot of people. I talked about my betting habits earlier with Maryland game. Yeah. Josh, I've never put so much money on a single bet, and that's betting the over for the Orioles.
Oh, that's a really – what do they have it at, 64 games?
64 and a half. I just poured money into it. I just poured money. I saw Maikel Franco hit a home run, and I saw freaking Trey Mancini hit a home run. I just started pouring my kids' college tuition into the Orioles over.
Yeah, the kids are referring to it as your stimmy, right? You put your stimmy on there?
Yeah, well, there's a bet limit with the over, so I did it to the limit.
So it's $50.
$100, that was the limit.
That's quite a nice college fund you got for your kids.
Well, he's young. What's
the payout? What's the payout? They're gonna pass 64 wins.
It's negative 110 or whatever. So you get like $90 or something. Yeah.
All right. Well, hey,
So I just have to wait 7 months to get my money.
$100. You make 90 over 7 months. I guess that's like a long-term savings bond.
I'd be better off putting it in Bitcoin probably, but whatever.
All right. At least it's not GameStop. You got something there.
But I'm so freaking optimistic about this year. Like, I think we're going to shock the world. And I'm not going to get into my predictions, but I think we're going to do some crazy things this year. I'm just pumped about our lineup.
And we'll get to the lineup.
Get rid of our second baseman. I'm just pumped about this whole team.
The lineup does excite me. I think the lineup is nice. I'm very happy with the lineup. I have a lot of questions about pitching.
I know, but Josh, then you start watching Matt Harvey pitch, and you watch Bruce Zimmerman pitch, and like you just, this happens every spring to me. This happens every spring where you just convince yourself, we could win 110 games. You never know.
Right. Remember Jake Fox.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to keep things in perspective. But yeah, It's fun to watch Matt Harvey and Bruce Zimmerman, guys.
Oh,
But
and
that's
don't
what the
sleep on
Orioles-
my guy today, Cesar Valdez. That guy is
All right,
crashing.
is Valdez throwing a knuckleball? He's not a knuckleballer, right?
No, but he's throwing. I mean, his fastball is in the
but
mid 80s. He's
That's
throwing
what I
junk.
mean.
He's
It's
throwing
junk
junk.
he's throwing, but he's getting outs.
Yeah, but I was listening to On the Verge podcast. They had On the Verge.
Yeah,
And-
they
and
do
they-
a great they focus on the prospects coming up.
Right, and they
Great
had
job.
a guy, Logenhagen, is that a name? I think that's a name that they had on, a guest. And he was talking about how one thing he would like to see the Orioles do, and what these good teams do, is they have a bunch of guys who like in the bullpen who throw really hard, got the good spin rate, right? You're throwing 97, you're getting a lot of strikeouts. And then to like mix things up, you have kind of a funky dude. You have a funky dude with kind of a
That's what I've been
sidearm.
saying. That's my
Or
plan.
whatever. And Cesar Valdez is our funky dude, right? We got a bunch of guys out there throwing hard, and he's our funky dude. Let me go up there and throw 82, not knuckleball, but that same type of idea.
Right.
Let me
But
throw up
remember-
their junk and get people
Right,
out.
that's what I've been saying. I'm saying Harvey in the 7th, knuckleball in the 8th, Tanner Scott in the 9th. That's what I've been asking for.
Yeah, that's the only thing that has me a little bit down on the Orioles is I am really down about the Hunter Harvey deal because
being hurt
he adds
again.
a lot to the back end of our bullpen, and that's I'm a little nervous about the back end of our bullpen
Yeah.
without Hunter Harvey.
Yeah, hopefully he's not out too for long. But yeah, that's no good.
Yeah, he was placed on the 60-day DL this past week, and so yeah,
Right, so
hopefully
that's at
he's.
least- is that 60 days from when he got hurt or 60 days from opening day?
I think it starts from when he got hurt, so I think he'd come back, not 60 days from the start of the season, but I'm not sure on that. I assume.
I don't know.
And there's rumors that Chris Davis might be heading that same route.
Right.
But this is again.
Why delay it?
Well, I don't even understand. And we talked about this last week, and we still have. There's no insight into what's happening with Chris Davis.
Right. Back
It's just
strain.
all weird to me. Yeah, it's just all weird.
Yep.
Like we know, like I feel with the oblique, like we get it with Hunter Harvey, but like the first game he kind of tweaked it, and then he was day to day, and he's been kind of day to day for what 3 weeks now. It's
I don't
weird.
know. I know that I am 41 years old, and if I play a softball game, play a basketball game, I'm day to day for a week. It's what happens when you're old. Your body's sore. So it's weird to be day to day and disappeared.
Yeah,
Now,
but
I
everybody
think-
gets sore, and you can still play through it, though.
I know. That's what I mean. So the back soreness that you can't play through seems strange. I
Yeah.
also know it's stranger because we do not have reporters there.
Yeah,
So we have
right.
no coverage. So
Right.
it makes it
I don't even
more
like what's
blinding.
even like when we don't like what is Chris Davis doing? Is he working out?
Apparently
is
he's there, but
he,
nobody
he's
knows.
there. Is he?
Ice
Yeah, what's he
baths every
doing?
day? Who knows?
Is he doing batting practice? Is he doing baseball drills at all? Is he
Right.
able to do anything? I don't know.
Nope. Nobody knows. It's,
Yeah. But if you look at the injuries outside of Hunter Harvey, Josh, Hyde kind of made out like a bandit on these injuries, right?
DJ Stewart stings a little bit.
Does it though?
I mean, you got a
Because
full outfield, but
He got a full outfield.
Did you? Yeah. Did you
Like,
see
I think
some of
it-
the spray charts coming out and facts about like DJ Stewart being the guy that Oriole fans need to be excited for and watching for?
Yeah, there was an article. I'm so bad at names. Was it Mike Petrillo? Petrillo?
Yeah, maybe.
Who,
Yeah.
who made a comparison? Did you see this comparison? It was in the article. I read the article. It was in a comparison. The comparison was as far as the walk rate and whatever the spray
Yeah.
chart. I don't know what it all is. But comparing, I just remember the comparison. I don't remember anything else because it's like when you saw the comparison and then your eyes blurred over everything else.
No, and that's
Compare
how,
him to Juan Soto. To Juan Soto.
right.
And
No,
like not
exactly.
saying he's Juan Soto, but saying like he has all these metrics that line up with Juan Soto.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I was reading the same stuff where it was like saying, look at this spray chart. And it was like everyone that like they were comparing him to was just like all-stars.
Yeah, and there was, I mean, we remember well, like there was a week or 2 weeks where he was freaking Babe Ruth, and then he came back down to earth. But then he's also been hurt a lot, but he's always had a high OBP. Like that's been his thing, is to get on base a lot and walk a lot. So
Right.
he's a guy that, yeah, I think the jury's still out on him. But I think for manager Hyde to have him maybe start on the DL and spend some time at the alternative camp while you kind of figure things out, because one of the problems that emerged, a good problem, is that Cedric Mullins has been playing his butt off.
Yep.
And so now I like at the beginning of the season, I would not have projected Cedric Mullins to be on the open day roster Now it looks like he's going to be in the open day lineup.
And,
it's very
right.
likely he's in the open day lineup, not just the open day roster.
Right. And what you're seeing this week is you're seeing manager Hyde trying to figure out how to fit Mullins and Hayes into the same lineup.
Yep. So you've seen Hayes move to right field a lot and Mullins in center field, which is I like you.
No, I know.
I'm a fan.
Great. It's
two athletic outfielders out there when
it's
we're
two
used to
athletic outfielders
having none.
that both have injury problems. It's like we were expecting one of them to be there.
Yeah, like I was expecting Dwight Smith Jr. in left, Stevie Wilkerson in center, and DJ Stewart having balls bounce off his head in right field. And now all of a sudden you look up and we have two really good outfielders in Cedric Mullins and Hayes. And then if you put Mountcastle in left, who I think has been playing really well, that's I think a good defensive outfield.
I agree.
And the DJ Stewart thing also, I think it will allow not only Cedric Mullins to be there, because he would be there regardless, but I think the guy that might have lucked out with DJ Stewart is Ruiz, where Ruiz, I don't know, Josh, like Ruiz is interesting, right? Because Miguel Franco looks good. Miguel Franco said today that he will be ready for opening day. Manager Hyde is putting him in the lineup every day like he's going to play him, like he's going to get him ready for opening day. And so if Franco makes opening day, the question of Ruiz and where his spot is on this team is kind of interesting.
Project Bowie.
For Ruiz?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he doesn't really fit on your bench.
Yeah, because
a guy like that on your bench.
He only really plays third base unless you're thinking about Miguel Franco more as DH first base. But
you've got a lot of DH first base. You don't need Riaz.
Yeah, I mean, you could, while you're waiting for Stewart to come back, you could DH Franco some when you bench Mullins and put Santander in right, and Franco can go to DH and Ruiz go to third. So you could play with that a little bit while you wait for DJ Stewart, I think. But then what's the point? Like, what's the point of putting Ruiz at third base, twice a week? Like, what's the point? I'd rather him be at Bowie or not on the roster, right? Just
right. And again,
I want Franco. I'm kind of done with Ruiz.
No, I agree. And even guys like, what's exciting is that guys in Bowie are still guys to be excited for. They're not necessarily in Bowie because they didn't make the squad. They're guys who are going to be part of this team in the future.
Yeah, and that's what also you think about the over-under, like just think about the over-under for 64.5 games.
Yeah.
And then think about, well, what if we trade Franco? What if we trade Harvey? Like, what if we trade some of these pieces at the deadline? Will we get a lot worse? And I come back to no, I don't think we'll get a lot worse because we're going to replace those guys with kind of some young, exciting, talented guys. Like we got guys, and we talked about them before, like Yusniel Diaz, and the pitchers galore, right? With Zach Lothar and Bruce Zimmerman if he starts down there,
right?
And Michael Baumann. We got a ton of talented pitchers down there as well. So I don't think we'll get worse when we start needing to go a little bit deeper into our organization. I think we have talent that's there waiting to help.
Yeah, I agree. Again, there's a whole lot of question marks, but I think you and I are both feeling good about those question marks and leaning more towards the positive of those question marks.
Yeah, I agree, and I've been pleased with what I've seen in spring training. Like if you look at so like for example, and I know like we can't read too much in the spring training, but now we're getting to the end of it. But we have like a week left of spring training, so it is what it is.
9 days till opening day.
Yeah. And so if you look at who has kind of the most hits on the team at the top, like you just, you search most hits, it's all the guys that you want to see. Austin Hayes is first, Trey Mancini, Cedric Mullins, Ryan Mountcastle, Anthony Santander. Like that's your top five. Like that's who you want to see in top five for hits for you. Young players who are part of your future, right? Like that's the crew. I mean, if you look at some of the stats, like I know no one's talking about Santander, but what Santander is doing with the walks is on a different level. The dude has an on base percentage, and it's not. I mean, he's played in 13 games, right? He's had only 29 at bats, only because the walks don't count as at bats, and he's had 10 walks. He has an on base percentage of .487. So he's almost getting on base half the time
That's
in spring
crazy.
training. It's crazy. That's Barry Bonds stuff number
Yeah.
right there. And then you look at who's leading the team in home runs. Oh, a guy named Ryan Mountcastle, who's been freaking locked in over the past week. That's just so exciting. If you think about Cedric Mullins, not only does Cedric Mullins have 11 hits, 6 of them have been extra base hits. He's got 4 doubles, a triple, and a home run. Like that's cool. Now, and he's only has 6 strikeouts in 483 at bats. Now, the downside for Cedric Mullins is he only has 1 walk, which concerns me a little bit.
Right.
And Ryan Mountcastle, by the way, this is not surprising. Ryan Mountcastle has 0 walks in all those at bats.
Right. But also Mullins has had the most at bats, and he's still holding his own.
Yeah.
He's been up there all the time. And
Yeah.
you're not even mentioning the face of the organization, Trey Mancini,
Right. Who's had a really good spring.
coming back from cancer and having a great season. We all talk about, getting into opening day shape. And, what does COVID do for pitchers being in opening day shape? And I feel like we've calmed down a little bit on that. Can pitchers pitch 162 games or whatever and all that? But come on, this guy just had cancer treatment a year ago, and he comes out and he's looking great.
Yeah, and at first there were some strikeouts there, and at first he was just like hitting singles. It was like singles. Like,
Right.
where's the power? And then the past week, like he hit a home run today. Like the power is just coming alive the past
Well,
week.
he was probably
which-
working on contact for that first week or two.
Yeah, all that makes perfect sense when you've been out of baseball for a year that you would just start
Yeah.
trying to make contact, and then the power comes back. And the guy who's been the best offensively, better than all of them, is Austin Hayes, right? Who has 2 home runs, batting .375 over the course of the spring, leads the team in hits. He leads the team in batting average. He's been fantastic. Has an on base percentage over 400.
Right.
So there's just a lot to be excited about in this with this young offense.
Yeah, totally. All right, so this young offense, we're excited about the bats. So what do you see this lineup looking like?
All right, and let me know if you disagree. For me, Josh, okay. So I'm starting with an outfield that includes Mullins and Hayes. Mullins, Hayes, Mountcastle,
Yep, yours matches mine.
Santander at DH. For me, the hardest decision in this lineup is where to put Cedric Mullins.
Oh, see, that was easy for me.
Where would you have him? Top or bottom of your lineup?
I've got him at the top
Yeah. See,
because of that on base percentage.
well, no, Josh. That's why I wouldn't have him at the top. His on base percentage, he only has 1 walk the whole freaking spring training. If you look at the on base percentage, it's .267. His batting average is .256. His on base percentage is .267.
All right, so who you want to put up there? Hayes?
I mean, I like the doubles from the leadoff spot with Cedric Mullins. But yeah, so anyway, in my lineup, I was struggling with where to put Mullins because if you put him at leadoff, it is cool that you can push then Austin Hayes, Santander, like push all those good hitters down, and like it makes your lineup look a lot stronger. But no, I have Austin Hayes at right field batting leadoff.
Okay, you can easily convince me of that.
Number 2, I have Anthony Santander at DH.
That matches mine.
And you could interchange him with Trey Mancini, but I like all the walks in spring training. I think top of the order, he's a good hitter and maybe get on base for your 3 and 4 hitter. Number 3, I have first base Trey Mancini.
Agreed.
Number 4, I have left field Ryan Mountcastle.
Matches me.
Number 5, or batting 5th, I should say. Number 5, batting 5th, I have third base Michael Franco.
Okay, I can. Okay, I can do that. I had Hayes there.
Okay,
But
if you go with Mullins at leadoff and Hayes there, I can see
made
that.
Hayes there because I didn't want to move Hayes all the way to the bottom because he's been getting on base.
Yeah.
All right, but I can give you Franco.
Yeah. If Mullins works out, I mean, I love Mullins to hit leadoff if he can do it well. I don't know. Batting 6th, I have Freddie Galvis at shortstop.
Fine.
Batting 7th,
7th, who you got 7?
Severino.
All right. Forgot about Severino. That makes
Yeah,
sense.
it goes with the 7. 7
right.
Severino.
All right. Now you're going to hide a guy at 8.
Well, 8 is where I hid. Well, not where I hid, but 8's where I put Cedric Mullins.
Oh, because you put Hayes at the top?
Yeah, but Hayes at the top. And so I have Cedric Mullins at 8. And again, I don't know really where to fit him because I also like when one
Why are you
lineup.
putting him in 8th?
Well,
Why wouldn't you have it in 9th for the turnaround?
I know, but
So
Josh,
you got
I don't care about the turnaround And like in my first lineup, I had him batting 6, and now I kind of like him better at 6. I don't know, but then he strikes out too much, and I don't know.
Yeah, but what do you want? Urias at 9th?
Well, I have Sanchez, but Urias is whatever. I mean, you can put Urias there too. I don't know who's going to be starting second baseman, Urias or Sanchez.
Right, so you just have second base.
Yeah. Can we talk about second base? These guys, Sanchez and Urias. Can I say it? Is it too early to say it? They're both bums. They are.
Yes, you're totally right. This is why I was hoping like Richie Martin would get workouts at second base or something.
I mean, Sanchez has played he played for the White Sox for a while, but he's never played in more than like 25 games in a single season. Never has hit for average. He's 28. He's not like he's a kid anymore. And Urias is similar at 26, but he's never been a successful major league player.
Right. And that's why the Orioles brought in Jemai Jones.
Yeah.
Who also can't play baseball.
Yeah. Well, why do you say he can't play baseball?
He's batting 150.
Oh yeah, but I think Jemai Jones at least has
he has one home run.
Upside and potential. Like I think Jemai Jones, I think it's really interesting what they've done with him in that he's played almost exclusively at second base in spring training.
Right.
Which tells me they're going to send him to
Project Bowie. Yeah.
Project Bowie. Really try to turn him into an everyday second baseman. So we don't have to watch freaking Urias or Sanchez all year.
Yeah, and I get that, and I understand that. But his MLB career is 173.
Yeah, but Josh, he's only played in a handful. He was tweaking his swing. Josh, there's a reason. There's a reason that we got Alex. There's a reason that the Angels traded him for Alex Cobb, right? It's not like we. It's not like we traded.
But
Santander for him.
You know who has a better batting average?
Who? What? Chris Davis? You're gonna say?
Chris Davis.
Yeah. But Josh, doesn't also make you think, like, where my mind, when I was just thinking about it with this Sanchez and Urias nonsense going on, my mind can't help but go to, there's a guy we had last year who played second base and hit at the top of our lineup. Mm-hmm. And I think our lineup would be better with Hanser Alberto.
Also, nice big smile on the bench.
Yeah, like and he signed a freaking minor league contract with Kansas City. And I think, oh man, I think we would have been better off with Alberto than Sanchez or Urias. And I wasn't a huge Alberto guy, but still, Sanchez and Urias are two of the most. We're gonna have a quiz in 2023. Remember who our second baseman was in 2021, and no one's gonna remember that it was who our opening day second baseman was. No one's gonna remember who our opening second baseman was in 2021. No one will.
Yeah.
Even me, as I'm talking about it now, I know by 2022 I would have forgotten that Sanchez was on our team.
Yeah. Here's an article from, when is this? March 7th. Hanser Alberto, who signed a minor league deal with the Royals this offseason, is 3 for 10 this spring in the first 5 games. He's showing why he is such a good fit for the club.
Yeah. And he would have been an upgrade over Sanchez.
Yeah.
Or Urias.
Here's another article. Hanser Alberto, hot in the Cactus League. So, yeah, he would have been nice.
Yeah, I mean, and the reason I like Franco, too, at third base the signing is because we have no depth at third base, specifically upper minor league depth. We have Bannon, who's kind of a utility guy, and that's kind of it at third base, along with Ruiz. And a similar story with second base. Unless maybe you want to swing Mason McCoy, right, who is a hot upper AAA or AA, AAA shortstop. You want to swing him to second base, maybe. But really, we got Jemai Jones. And I think that's also the reason why we brought Jemai Jones is to add depth to that position, right? Because we really have no upper minor league depth at the second base position either. We have a lot of outfielders. We have a bunch of starting pitchers. But second base, we are lacking.
Yeah, we've got we got shortstop, third basemen on the come up. But I don't know any second basemen. Because a lot of times you're hiding someone at second base.
Yeah, or maybe it's very likely we got a lot of shortstop we drafted recently, like that Westerberg guy, and I mentioned McCoy as well, and so maybe you could take a shortstop and swing him over to second base if he is not good enough to play a shortstop. Yeah,
right. Sure, anything's possible like that.
Yeah. But I didn't want to end on the negative of the second base. I think our lineup outside of that looks good. Like Hayes, Santander, Mancini, Mountcastle, Franco,
Yeah,
Galvis, Severino, Mullins.
that's 7-8 runs a night.
Yeah. I just decided right now I'm moving Mullins ahead of Severino. Sorry, Severino. You're going to the 8th spot. And Mullins going to the 7th spot. But
All right, so you're not worried about that wraparound.
But that's no, I don't care about the wraparound, Josh. What does it even mean? I never really understood that. Like a second leadoff hitter at 9th. I don't even really understand that.
Well, that means if you have Hayes, or no, Mullins. If you have Mullins at first, then Hayes comes up behind them. So you have Hayes batting 9th, he gets on first base. Then Mullins comes up behind, or Hayes comes up behind Mullins, can hit a double.
All right, Josh.
And he can score.
All right, but how often will Mullins lead off the inning in the 9th hole? You're just assuming that he will always lead off the inning in the 9th hole?
Yeah, because you got second base and Severino in front of him. That's 2 outs.
No, so that's a double play every time.
Right,
So Severino
exactly.
bats 8, hits it in the double play, and then
Yeah.
Mullins leads off. Okay,
Yes.
fine.
Something like that.
All right. But no, I think we're going to score a lot of runs this year. I do. We're going to score a lot of runs. I'm pumped about Mountcastle. I think he's going to have a great year.
Hey,
I'm just pumped about this team. I'm pumped about this offense.
You think next week we can get Bert on here for some bold predictions?
Oh, yeah, please. Let's get him on for a final show
Let's play
before
a little game
the season.
where does Bert know this Oriole?
Yeah, he doesn't know Yammer Sanchez.
No,
There's-
he doesn't.
he doesn't
Or
know
Jemai
Sanchez.
Jones.
Yeah, he might know Jemai Jones, but
Franco, he does not know Franco's an Oriole. He might recognize the name, but not know it's an Oriole.
I was hanging out with Bert last weekend. Well, kind of. We went to the zoo, Baltimore Zoo,
Mm-hmm.
like families, and he was there. I didn't really talk to him that much.
Right. Well, it was hard to talk through the masks and 6 feet apart.
And with the elephants being noisy without a mask on in the background.
What? The elephants don't have to wear masks?
No, I know. Though
I wanted to see that nose all rolled up inside of a mask.
Though next to the lions, there was like an extra gate saying you couldn't get too close to the lions because COVID can be transmitted to animals.
Wait, really?
Yeah, that was the sign that said that.
Okay, I haven't heard
That's
that
my
one.
paraphrase. What's the sign that said that?
Gotcha. Well, yeah, I know it didn't say stay away. Right. Yeah, it didn't say and lions can eat you.
Yeah, no, it was a fancy way of saying though that you could pass COVID to these animals. So back up.
But if I'm so close to a lion that I can pass COVID, then that lion can definitely eat me.
Yeah, it was weird, right? Because there was that little guard that said that,
Right.
and then beyond that guard was this huge glass wall that no one could get by anyway. So I don't know.
I'm not going to be 3 feet within a lion.
Yeah, I agree. What, are you going to be 6 feet though?
Well, no,
I
I
don't
think
know,
the
is it 6 feet or
CDC
3?
just dropped it to 3 feet, right?
Well, no, only 3 feet. Wearing a mask, and the lion's not wearing a mask, so it's still
Okay,
6
so it's gotta
feet
be 6 feet
without
Fine.
masks.
I've seen The Lion King. I'm pretty sure a lion can jump 6 feet.
Yeah. Well, all right. But anyway, I think our offense is going to be a lion this year.
Yeah. How about the rotation? What do you think this rotation looks like? I mean,
Yeah.
Harvey's in this rotation now. I've seen enough from Harvey. He's in it.
Well, and we said it even before his last start, and he was really effective in his last start, that Matt Harvey just throwing 95 with movement on his fastball.
Whatever they said, 96.
Yeah, hit not 96. Like you can't not keep that guy on the roster, even if he gave up a bunch of runs in his last start, which he
You
didn't.
got to see it out.
You got to see can you reclaim this? And I don't think the Dark Knight is back. I don't think he's going to go back to his former self because I'm an Orioles fan. I can't think that, but I can think that he can go back to being a serviceable starter. One of our best 5 starters, which again, maybe not saying a whole lot for us.
Like,
but
did you ever see the movie Logan
no,
about Wolverine? Where he's an old guy and he's not the Wolverine that you knew as a kid.
Yeah.
And the old Wolverine. He's now an old retired guy, but he can still kill a bunch of children if they can run at him.
Absolutely. And so and I think Matt Harvey can do the same. Not kill a bunch of children, but can get a bunch of guys out. But it was announced that our opening day starter is John Means.
Yeah, no surprise. Though I would like Matt Harvey to be it, but John Means is obvious choice.
Yeah, and at this point, this is the time where like manager Hyde has to figure this out, right? Because you have to know who your open day starter is. You have to know who your number 2
Right.
starter is.
So that
because
you use
you
them
got to
properly
line
now.
up. Yeah, you got to
line-
line up the last spring training games.
Yep.
So we know John Means is our number 1. We don't know anyone else, right? We don't know anyone else as far as making the team or what order those slot in.
Because the order really doesn't matter once you get past John Means.
What do you mean?
Like there's no one who's a set number 2, no one who's a
Right.
set number 3. They're all guys that are back end of the rotation guys.
Right.
So you're filling it with 4s and 5s, so it doesn't really matter where they go.
Right. Yeah, I agree. And so you have John Means, and then I guess Keegan Aiken or Dean Kramer will be number 2. I think the guy who's really interested in me, who I don't know, people seem to be saying this is going to be the last man off, is Wade LeBlanc. Right? Is Wade LeBlanc going to make this team as a starter? Is going to make this team as a bullpen arm? That's the guy I don't know about.
Yeah.
Because I think they go with John Means and Dean Kramer and Keegan Aiken, and then I think Matt Harvey, and then it's like Jorge
Zimmerman.
Lopez. It's Jorge Lopez, Zimmerman, and LeBlanc.
Yeah.
It's those 3 guys. But I think over the course of the season, like stuff happens, and
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think they're all going to get their opportunities to pitch. And if they don't, I think it's good to have this kind of level of depth where if they don't pitch well, you can replace them. Hernandez is starting to throw. I think tomorrow he throws like light toss or something.
But he won't be ready for opening day.
Yeah, so Hernandez won't be here for opening day. But again,
good.
This is a manager Hyde injury that's worked out well for him.
Right.
Because now manager Hyde has to make his decision between 7 guys, and it would have been 8, but now it's just 7 guys, which is good. Yeah, so I'm curious to see if it's Zimmerman or LeBlanc or Lopez in that kind of 5th spot. And I don't know. I don't know if spring training stats matter, right? Does it matter that Kramer has an ERA over 7 because of what he did last year? I don't know.
It might mean, hey, go start in Bowie for a while. But then there's also talk of a 6-man rotation.
Yeah.
So the 6-man rotation could balance that out, and that could be how you get Zimmerman and Lopez in here.
Yeah, but doesn't also that mean, and I guess depends how you finagle it, but wouldn't that mean like Means pitching less? Like I want Means pitching every 5th day.
Right, but remember there's also talk of because of COVID year, the pitchers aren't up to pitching every 5 days or every 6 days.
Right.
So I think
maybe
that's
for
also part of it is
longevity purpose here, yeah. Go with 6 pitchers.
But remember, we talked earlier, Wade LeBlanc is the one that on paper makes the most sense to put him in so we can trade him.
Right.
So having him in Bowie does not help that function. So they're going to try to fit him into here.
Yeah, that makes sense to me too. And even like there's talk about maybe putting LeBlanc in the bullpen. But again, if you want to showcase him as a potential trade chip, you want to start him.
Exactly. Yep.
And I would say the same with this Matt. Like I look at Matt Harvey, right? Isn't Matt Harvey? You try to reclaim him.
Oh yeah,
but so Matt you can trade him.
Yeah, Matt Harvey's not going in the bullpen. He's a flip guy. Yeah.
If you can somehow recapture, his loss, his greatness.
If he starts out hot, you start making phone calls immediately.
Yeah, I mean
you
that's
give him 3 games and you start making moves.
Yeah. Yeah, but that's one of those things where, like, I don't know, like for another team, how much, like, with Matt Harvey, like, the more he pitches, like, I want to see him pitch more, not less, right? Like, because I would be skeptical of 2 or 3 or even 4 good starts from Matt Harvey if I was another team.
Maybe. I don't know. We've seen teams jump and make other – I mean, yes, but we've seen teams pay more for guys on short wins.
Yeah, and there's
a lot of hype about Matt Harvey's like reclamation project and the stuff that he did this offseason.
Yeah, and I guess, and if you look at last season, Richard Blyer we traded really early into the season, and so you never know about those deals too, where you assume nothing will happen until the trade deadline, but then stuff does happen, right?
Yeah.
And so that's another.
He's with the Yankees this year, isn't he?
Richard Blyer?
Yeah. Or
no,
did I just make that up. Oh,
you just made that up.
O'Day's with the Yankees.
O'Day's with the Yankees. Everyone else with the Yankees. Yeah.
Gotcha. Hey, question over on Facebook. Kyle is wondering, His fantasy draft is this weekend. He wants to draft an Oriole. Who's the top Oriole he should draft for a keeper league? So clearly it's something where you want them to be serviceable this year, but really you're holding into the future. Who would you take?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly how fantasy baseball works as far as I assume you want walks and home runs and doubles and hits and stuff.
Right.
So I mean, the guy I immediately go
don't
to.
Don't take a pitcher.
Yeah, don't take a pitcher. And even like saves, because I think a lot of fantasy baseball still has saves as a stat. But Manager Hyde is full in closer by committees here,
Yes.
so there will be no closer.
Don't worry about the save stat in Baltimore.
Yeah. Though I would probably say Ryan Mountcastle, but he's not going to get you steals or anything. But he's not going to get you walks, but he'll get you hits and home runs. So I would go with Ryan Mountcastle.
All right, that works. I'm going to go with DJ Stewart because if the projections, you're talking about a keeper league, and if the projections are true, that's a guy you might be able to draft late in the draft, but he's got a potential.
Well, he'll probably go undrafted depending on how many teams are in the league.
Well,
but
it depends if it's a league of Oriole fans or not.
Yeah, I'm not touching DJ
we
Stewart.
play a lot of fantasy football, and we see Ravens get taken earlier than they should.
Yeah, I would also say, the guy I'll put a lot of guys for DJ Stewart. I would also put Austin Hayes near the top of that list because Austin Hayes has had a freaking on-fire spring. If he can stay healthy, I think Austin Hayes can be one of our best players, and he can steal the occasional base, and he can hit for power, and also hits a bunch of doubles.
Yep.
So yeah, Austin Hayes would be Ryan Mountcastle and then Austin Hayes, and then Santander. Right. Santander is another good one.
All right. So we went through the Orioles Dominican Republic news. We went through the lineup. We went through the rotation.
Real quick on the lineup, I was dismissing Sanchez too quickly. He has played. In 2017, 18, and 19. He played over 140 games. So I was dismissing him as a career backup. But still, his MLB average, his batting average over a bunch of seasons, 5-6 seasons, is 245. So even when he played those long seasons,
it's all right. You had the stats wrong, but you were committed.
I was committed. See that's us.
Exactly. You ready to get to a little ball four?
Oh, sure.
Got some music for ball four now. Since I could never find the sound effect I wanted, figured some background music for ball four would work. You want to go ball one, or you want me to take ball one?
Sure, Josh. Well, you mentioned some podcast just a minute ago.
Yeah.
So I was gonna do my ball fours for a podcast, baseball podcasts.
Okay.
I'm gonna stay away from Orioles podcasts just because I don't want to offend anybody. By leaving someone off the list, there's a bunch of great Orioles podcasts. I don't want to offend anybody.
Right. You've only got one ball.
I only got 2 balls.
Okay, you only got 2 balls.
I have 2 balls. How many balls you got, Josh? You got one over there?
Sorry, I thought I was talking to Caleb Joseph.
Yeah, I got 2. So there's 2 sports podcasts that I listen to, and these are the only 2. I'm open for suggestions. I've tried a bunch, and these are the only 2 I can get into.
All right.
The first one,
I'm with you. I'm on 2. That I
I really like, and I know a lot of people don't like. I'm a huge fan of Buster Olney's podcast, and so my ball one is the Baseball Tonight podcast with Buster Olney.
I agree. That's my baseball podcast.
I think it's good. It's short segments. He does, a numbers thing. He does one with a reporter I like. So it's good. It's good.
Yeah. I also like the Baseball Barbecue podcast that I think I mentioned at the top of the show.
Yeah. Okay, I'll have to check that one out. It's been a while since I listened. Yeah. It's been a while since I listened to that one.
All right.
That's my ball one. You go ball 2.
All right. My ball 2 is going to be driving lessons. I started teaching Emma how to drive yesterday.
Oh, that sounds horrifying.
She got her learner's permit. I took her over to a big parking lot around here. Over at the World Golf Hall of Fame, there's a big abandoned empty parking lot. And let her drive around. The car moves at like 5 miles an hour, going in loops around the parking lot.
Josh, I stress out when Emily drives. I don't even like when anyone else is in the driver's seat besides me. It stresses me out. I can't imagine having a 16-year-old learning to drive. That would stress me out.
One moment where I was like, well, stop, because you were about to hit a curb at 5 miles an hour. So,
and I remember when I was learning to drive, there was at least 3 times where I mistook the brake for the gas pedal. Like that's happened to me when I was first learning to drive.
Well, that's like an old
fear.
person thing where they crash through the 7-Eleven or something.
Yeah, through their garage door.
Yeah. So she did good. First time out. Did good. Right. It's going to be a while until we get out of the parking lot.
All right.
But yeah, it's I guess it's a new thing as a dad.
Yeah.
For me.
Is she excited about it? Does she like it?
She does. She did the class, got her learner's permit.
Okay.
And now she's has to do the drive-in. And Florida's weird when you get your learner's permit, no matter what age you are. And it might not be Florida's weird. It might just be different from when you and I were kids.
Right.
That she has to keep her learner's permit for a year.
Oh.
So she can't get her license for at least a year from now.
I thought in Florida, based on what our news story is, that you didn't even need to have any type of license to drive or anything. You could just, anyone could just get behind the wheel.
There's a law, but I'm pretty sure there's plenty of people in Florida that do not follow that law.
Yeah.
That grow up driving their tractors and suddenly they're driving the pickup trucks.
And my ball two is another, not baseball podcast, but a sports podcast. And unfortunately, most of the baseball talk is focused on the Nationals. And in some ways, it's not even a sports podcast because they dissect from sports so much that I don't even know if it's right to call it a sports podcast. But he's a sports reporter, so it's the Tony Kornheiser show, which I absolutely love. It's my favorite podcast on my app.
That's a daily podcast too, right?
Tony's gotten a little bit lazy as he's gotten older, so now it's like 3 days a week. But yeah,
all right, gotcha. Yeah, I haven't listened to that one in a while, and I listen to Glenn Clark Radio as my
that's a good
podcast.
One. Yeah,
that's the local daily podcast I recommend all the time.
Is that your ball four, or are you just hopping on my ball?
I'm just jumping on your ball.
Okay, get your own ball.
All right, my ball 4 is RBI Baseball 21.
Oh yeah, I'm glad about this one. Okay, talk to me about it. Yeah,
said, hey, it's only $30. It's out now, and you can play online against people. This game sucks.
Oh, it does.
Do not buy this game for $29. It should be $9.99. Every time I try to play someone online, it says it can't find anyone. So clearly, I'm the only person in America that bought this game.
How does this game suck? Just recreate RBI Baseball and put it so you can play online. How hard is this?
Because they tried to improve the graphics.
Oh, no.
But nothing else. So you'll see your guy and he's all jerky, but the graphics look good.
Don't improve the graphics. Just have the same game.
They totally made mistakes with trying to make it good without having the engine to power it. So don't buy the $29.99 game. Wait and spend the $60, $70, whatever it is, when MLB The Show comes out in a month. Because then that'll have all the players you want and all the stuff, and it's actually a good game. So do not buy RBI Baseball 21.
All right.
Except I do like RBI Baseball on the iPhone. I don't think the new one's out yet, but I enjoy sitting at Camden Yards pregame.
I had that a couple years ago. And
if that's like $5-10, I will buy that. But do not buy it for the PlayStation. It's a waste. Oh, and a quick update. Still don't have that PlayStation 5 I paid for at the beginning of February.
Shut up. What's in that latest excuse? I need to start writing down these excuses because there's things I want to get out of. Now that COVID is wrapping up, I need to get out of things. And so I'm going to start stealing some of these guys' excuses. What's his next one?
I knew I was going to talk about RBI Baseball. So I messaged him today. Where is it? I messaged him at 7:06 tonight, which is when I wrote down what my ball 4 would be because I wanted an update. I said, hey, what's the next PS5 projection? And he said, tonight for sure. I'm literally waiting for him to get home, and then I'll pick it up. And no update yet. So we'll see.
How many times has he used the phrase "for sure" in all the messages?
100 times. Now, he also once in a while will say, hey, your podcast looked good. But I doubt he's ever checked it out to the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
So
he for sure hasn't. For sure.
No, I don't think so. But he knows. I give him a hard time because it used to be I'd bug him every day. Then I got bored. So now I give him every few days where I'll send him a message. And his response is always, it's coming tonight or definitely tomorrow. Yeah. And then there's always a follow-up when I text him and say, so not tonight? And he's like, oh, definitely tomorrow.
So much in the near future, he needs something from you. And you can give him the for sure it's coming for a month. Like we need some revenge here. Where
I got to figure out a good way to get back to him.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So All right, that's a good update. That's a good update. I'm looking for. I'm gonna be the moment you get your PS5. I'm gonna be a little. I'm gonna be disappointed. I'm gonna be a little bit sad that this will no longer be a recording segment on our show.
It sucks because I want the PS5 because I want to.
Because you paid for it.
I paid for it. Technically, I paid for 2 because I paid for one for a guy from work. So I'd like to get that money back. But I'm also.
Did the guy from work get his?
No, I bought 2 for him and said, "Hey, you can pay me once I get them in."
Oh, so you have to get it before you can get it,
right? So I have to, I'm not going to ask for it. Hey, can you give me the money? You'll get it in 3 months.
For sure, but say for sure. Say for sure you'll get it.
For sure, exactly. What type of friend does that? But I also want to play it, and I'm waiting to download the new Spider-Man game because I want the new PlayStation for it. So I'd like to do that, but I'm also entertained with the fact that every day there's a new excuse.
It's really hilarious. Like this is funny.
It is. It's very entertaining. So hopefully I'll have it tonight.
Do you see him on a daily basis? No, you don't see him on a daily basis. To like talk to him about it. Does it make your conversations awkward? Like this is now always hanging there.
I see him probably twice a week.
Okay.
He's my softball coach. Okay. So I always tell him I'm not pitching unless my PlayStation shows up.
That's good.
And then it doesn't show up, and I say, "You're lucky I love softball." And I go pitch. So yeah, it's funny.
That's funny. So next week, Josh, predictions.
Yeah. I got predictions next week.
All my normal predictions are gonna be bold predictions because I'm so pumped about this team.
Well, let me cut that sound off.
Time now for bold predictions.
Yeah, that'll be next week.
Yeah.
Okay, and we already gave a little sneak preview that we're saying the over. Yeah. We're both giving 65 wins.
Should I give him another sneak preview? At this point right now, they might as well just pave the street into Baltimore with gold for all the World Series parades we're going to have over the next decade after they build this facility in the DR.
All right. I hear you there. I think it's also time because we did this last year and then COVID ruined everything. Yeah. So it's also next week is time to bring back the Chris Davis bet.
I think we can talk about Chris Davis over under amount of games played.
Oh, is that? Yeah, that's going to be the bet.
Forget about home runs or batting average. Just how many at bats he will have. I think will be a good over under.
All right.
But yeah, we'll talk about it next week. We'll try to get Bert on here too.
Yeah, we'll see.
Everyone tweet at Bert. I'm gonna come back on the show. You can follow him at Bert Rohde. Leave us a review on iTunes. We already talked about all that stuff.
Yep.
Follow us on social media. You can follow me on Twitter at Section336. You can follow Josh on Twitter
at Josh Soroka.
And Josh, you want to say anything about Birdland here? We got Birdland week.
Oh yeah, we got podcast takeover week for Birdland tonight right now. So make sure you're following Birdland Sports on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch. Hit the bell so you get your notifications. This week we've got The Warehouse, Bleacher Birds. Give that fan a podcast. Nate hit the foul pole. And the bat around, all coming up in the next 5-6 days. Plus Thursday is the last spring training game on Masson. And by last, I mean the second spring training game on Masson.
Second and last.
And it's a night game, which means Birdland Tonight is coming up for our first post-game show this Thursday night. So make sure you check that out. And, 9 days away, we got Birdland Tonight almost every night as the season starts. So make sure you're following all that. It's going to be fun.
All right, boys and girls. Thanks for listening. As always, go O's.